Hi, Emery. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Awesome. So nice to meet you. Now, I am conducting interviews today about people's workplace experiences and their
Sure,
experiences with their managers. So, I want to hear all about it.
I've had a few managers.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I'm excited. So tell me, has a manager ever made you so upset that you've wanted to cry, kick, scream, whatever you wanted to do? Tell me about it.
One time I had a manager who, kind of probably like most people's experiences, you go in, you get an impression of what they're like, always positive at the beginning, and then you kind of over time find out how what their real true colors are like.
Those true colors.
Yeah. And it was kind of a situation in which it was at a really small company, and we had a lot of transparency in terms of like our salaries and stuff like that. And we were hiring for another individual who was a much more senior level.
Okay.
And so we needed to pay them significantly more. And basically the manager ended up kind of lying about my salary to this other person and said it was higher than mine actually was.
Oh, wow.
And we were actually since it was such a small organization, I was intimate with our finances. And so, after this happened a couple times, I kind of just asked, I was like, hey, could I actually have that salary that you keep telling people that I have?
Right, because they're like, where is that salary?
Yeah, and that individual, that manager at the time, he said, no, you can't. You should have asked for that when you signed on or when you.
No, you should have given me my salary that you're telling everyone that I have.
Yeah, or just be honest about what's going on here.
Yeah.
And so that, and amongst a few other kind of weird things like that, one day I just walked out and I told him, I was like, I'm done here. And it was one of the best decisions of my life because I got a way better job right after.
I love that. Now, how was the walkout? Like, tell me about that. Like, at what point did you make that decision? You're like, you know what? Forget about this. I'm walking out.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it was. I kind of was building up this conversation of, okay, now
you were talking to yourself, like.
Exactly, yeah. And I was like, okay, I need to do this like renegotiation, we're going to have this conversation. And, we were kind of butting heads and the chemistry just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this was actually right after, a few months after COVID started. So we didn't know what was going to happen with any jobs, right? But I could just tell it wasn't for me. And so I just told him right there, straight to his face, that I was like, this isn't working and I'm done here. And I left.
I love that, because what that shows is you chose yourself, and you chose yourself during a period that you wasn't really sure what was going to happen. That was around COVID, so you had to be upset.
Yeah. And I've had a few different experiences where I've quit jobs, and for me, fortunately, it's always been a benefit. And so that's one of the things I tell people, especially earlier in the career, is just quit jobs.
Okay, so we'll call you the job quitter.
Yeah, the job quitter. I love my job now, so I'm not quitting, but it took a few quits to get there,
Right, a few quits to get there. I love that. You probably could even write a book.
Maybe in a decade.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have that much experience.
Okay, well, my last question to you is, you have 30 seconds.
Okay.
I want you to think of a manager that has either built you up, made you feel good, was amazing, or broke you to your core. And we know you have a broken story in there. But give us what you want to give, and talk to that manager right now for 30 seconds. What do you want to say, if you had a chance to say it?
It was actually my next manager right after that. And they were
Talk to your manager. What would you
talk to my manager? I would say just thank you for taking the chance on me and trusting me and giving me the space to develop, because in my experience, managers that aren't looking over your shoulder the whole time and kind of let you just have a little bit of breathing room, that really gives you the opportunity to grow. And that was one of my first experiences with that. And I'm actually kind of a manager right now, and I've kind of taken that positive experience to kind of give a lot of like leeway to my reports to kind of let those individuals kind of breathe and grow on their own and be there as any support that they need.
I love that. One more question. I know I said that that was my last, but you had another question popped up in my mind here. Let's say, because you are kind of in a management level position right now with direct reports, let's say you pissed off your direct reports.
Okay.
How would you rebuild that trust and supercharge your team?
I would probably take ownership for the mistakes. That's the first thing I would do. One of the things I like being on either side of reporting to someone or having a report is just very transparent communication. And, one thing I try to do is, kind of, and I learned this from that former manager who was really positive, was to, put the entire spotlight for everything the team achieves onto that person or the team below me, because it naturally rolls up.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be a person that takes credit for anything, and I don't want to be that person. So, take ownership for any mistakes I made in that process, and then also continue to put the spotlight and the positive onto those individuals.
I love that. I think the perception that people have is that managers are supposed to be perfect. We're all imperfect humans. And I love your point around just take the accountability, own up to it. You have the opportunity to change. Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Thanks for joining us on Beyond Management with Netta Jenkins, the show where Netta asks bold questions and uncovers real thoughts on what it takes to lead and manage in today's world. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn for more inspiring episodes. See you next time. Netta's upcoming book, Supercharged Teams: How Every Manager Can Create a Culture of Excellence, guides managers through every stage of leadership. Join Netta's pre-order perks list by clicking the link in her LinkedIn profile.